Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Tuesday, September 26th.
Not Tuesday.
And we are in line in traffic, and that might give you a little hint where we're at. We're going into Mesa Verde National Park. And I don't know how busy it's going to be today, but the line's not too bad, but we are in line waiting to get in. And I'll try to show you a little bit of that. We've been here before, but it's been a long time. We were talking about it, and I don't think we've been here since our honeymoon 30 years ago. So I'm sure the cliff dwellings haven't changed much, but I'm sure there's other stuff that has changed. They're doing some road work on the way in, so I didn't film that. But we'll get back to you real quick as soon as we get something to film. Well, we had about a 15-minute wait to get into the park, and that wasn't really too bad. But now we're starting in the road going in, and it's pretty spectacular. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit and maybe give you a little bit of a commentary. We were fortunate enough years ago that we bought what they call the senior passes, or jokingly called the geezer passes, and they were only $10 a few years ago, and they last for your lifetime. And they got so many of us old folks that like those that they ended up getting way too many of them. So they ended up.
Now they're 80.
Yeah, so now they're $80 now, and but we were lucky enough to snag them when they were only $10, and boy, that was the deal of a century. And we've used the devil out of ours. Tell you a little funny story. Is we were up at Bryce Canyon, and we had my grandnephew with us, and he and I decided we wanted to go hiking. And so my wife just was going to drop us off, and then she was going to pick us up at the other end. Well, Bryce Canyon, if you haven't been there, and it's kind of on the side of a hill, and the hikes are real steep downhill to get into all the good places, and then you got to climb back up to the top again. But there's one hike that goes from the top and comes out the bottom, and it comes back out the bottom of the park out onto BLM land. And so we decided to take that one, so old Chuck wouldn't have to climb back up the hill again. And so she dropped us off, and then she left the park and went and did what she wanted to do for a little while, and then a few hours later she picked us up at the other end. Well, we got thinking about that, and we had one geezer pass at the time, and it was in my name. And so we wondered if she'd left the park, maybe she couldn't get back in again. And so next time we went in the park, we asked them, and they said, yeah, that's true. So we hurried up and went and bought one in her name as well. And you got a beautiful view up here I'm going to try to show it to you if I can. Looking back over toward Cortez. Cortez is actually very, very close to the park, but you actually kind of drive and go into the back side of it. So there's no pull out there, so I didn't get you a very good look at that. But anyway, back to my story. So we figured it'd be a good idea for $10 to buy her one as well, and because otherwise we'd have been kind of stranded in there, because she wouldn't have been able to get back into the park to pick us up because the geezer pass was in my name. So anyway, we've used the devil out of these things, and there I can give you a shout off to the side this direction, and those are some pretty good sized mountains over there. I think the highest ones are up above 14,000 feet, but that's kind of looking to the northeast. Back to the road again. If you've never been here, this road going into this place is pretty spectacular, and speed limit's only about 25 miles an hour or so. Before I turned the camera on, my wife reminded me that I was probably going a little bit too fast. Those rock slide danger signs up here, and you can see right here, there's a few rocks down here along the road, and I'm sure that maintaining this thing is a constant battle. can see where they doing some work on it right here. They must have had part of it collapse in the side. And yep, 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. And when you got real pretty country to look at, you don't need to go any faster than that anyway. Well, got a big bump here. See how steady I can hold the camera. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, apparently the things collapsed off down the hillside here, so they got us all limited to this far side over here. I don't know a lot about road construction, but I do know that that looks like an expensive fix to fix that right. Trying not to get you into the sun. Got to get you in the sun a little bit because that's where the road goes. There's another shot off there into the valley. Really pretty. One thing I noticed this trip, I hadn't noticed when I was here before, is they don't allow you to tow trailers up into here. So if you got a trailer, you got to drop it off. They got a big parking lot down there, and if you got a motorhome towing a car, you can drop off your motorhome there and just drive your tow car. That's pretty handy. I don't remember that being there before. It probably was, but like I say, we haven't been here for a long time. Now this guy in front of us is going to turn off into the overlook, and that's probably kind of good. Yeah, there we go. Now we can go 35, okay. No stopping, no parking. Well, okay. They were starting to get just a little bit of color up on the hillsides up there. Weather today is about picture perfect. The thermometer here on the car says it's 70 degrees, and you can't get much better than that. See, up on the hillside, they had a fire here a few years ago, and you can still see the burned trees up on the hillside. Looks like the brush has pretty much come back. Need to pay a little bit more attention to how fast I'm going. I drifted up there a little bit. This is what I was wanting to show you. Everybody loves a tunnel. This one's a dandy. pretty cool. I'm going to turn the camera off for a while now, and I'll turn it back on when we get something else to show you, but I thought you'd get a little enjoyment out of going through that tunnel. I know I did. I'll be back again in a little bit. But folks, I had to make a stop and show you this. It's called the Montezuma Overlook. And we're looking back over there toward Cortez across the valley. You can see Sleeping Ute Mountain over there. And way, way, way in the distance over there, those are the LaSalle Mountains over near Moab, Utah. Just a beautiful, beautiful look across the valley. I don't know how much you can see. There's a little bit of goober in the air this time, and part of that's because the Forest Service has a prescribed burn going on. And part of it's probably a little bit of dust, and you're probably getting a little bit of wind noise on this segment. I apologize for that. But it was definitely worth showing it to you. Give you a pan around the rest of the way. We're partway up the hill. And just a gorgeous place. Once again, you can see the burned trees where the fire came through here a few years ago. But that's a pan around. I'll give you one more look at this pretty valley. I'm not sure what that lake out there is called, but back there is toward Cortez. And I'll be back with you again pretty quick. Well, folks, this is the famous Cliff Palace, and I'm going to show you here in just a second. And it's a little bit of a walk down here. I'm going to probably video the way back out. And there's quite a few people here. I don't want to disturb a lot of people. But let me see if I can get you over by the edge where I can show you. It's kind of a little bit into the sun. I apologize for that. And there's a little bit of wind noise. But let me see if I can get you a good shot. As you can tell, even though this is kind of the end of the season, there's still quite a few people here. Let me see if I can walk over here at the end and stick my arm out here. And you can see there's a tour group down at the bottom. See if I can stand next to these nice ladies and show you down here. Thank you. You can imagine just how much work it must have taken and how many years it took the indigenous people to build these. You want me to take your picture?
Oh, it's okay. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. That's on down the canyon. This is a pretty isolated spot. I'll get back to you again in another little snippet here pretty quick. Well, we're on our way back out. We decided to stop here at Park Point. And I'll take you up on top of the hill. There, we're looking off to the west. You can see Sleeping Ute Mountain over there. You can see the LaSalles over by Moab. But we're going to walk up here to the top. I didn't film as much back there at Cliff Palace as I thought I was going to. Let me spin you around so I can talk to you. Yeah, there were a lot of people over there, and we didn't want to disturb anybody. So I figured not to shoot anymore over there. Then we stopped and had lunch at a little place inside the park here, and the lunch was good. It was a little overpriced, but other than that, it was good. But right now, we're heading up to this little path up to Park Point. So let me turn you back around. How you doing?
Good. How are
you? YouTube doesn't like it when you film kids, so I turned that off to the side. I filmed a parade. Of course, the parade had children, and they turned off the comments on that video. Hopefully, they didn't do it on this one. Notice this looks a little funny here because you got all these dead branches sticking up above the brush. And the reason for that is this burned off at one time. And the dead stuff sticking up there is what burned in the fire, and this is all regen that's coming back in afterwards. As a result, you can see it's probably 8 feet tall. I don't know how long this whole video is going to end up being, but it's going to be kind of long in segments. Hi. Now, here we are. Got me puffing here. There's the road we're going to go out. There's the mountains over there. I believe those are the La Platas. Give you a quick pan around. I'm not going to go clear down to that point where those people are. The mountains over there are the Carrizo Mountains in Arizona on the Navajo Reservation. And right there in the middle, I don't know if you can see it, it's pretty faint, but that's Shiprock. Actually got a fire lookout here. Looks like a good place for one. It's an active duty station and unfortunately closed to the public. Okay, well, we still get to look around and see the pretties. That's the Colorado Rockies, folks. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you to take care of each other, love each other. This has been our tour of Mesa Verde National Park. And I'll see if I can get it stitched together and loaded up later on today. But for those of you that like the windshield tours, this is a little bit of that. And I just realized I shot this with my sunglasses on. I apologize for that. And we'll talk to you again real soon. So right now, one more look over toward Cortez, and I'll tell you peace out.